Everyone, thank you again for coming to my lecture series, Taking Control of Language Impairment After Stroke and Brain Injury. Today, we're going to be focusing on sound production strategies after apraxia of speech. I'm really hoping you'll take some tidbits and techniques from my lecture today to help with your ability to communicate and get the sounds out when you're just stuck. So remember, if you missed my last lecture, apraxia of speech is when you're having problems producing the sound correctly. This may be an example of you're trying, instead of, like I said earlier, you're trying to use the word kitchen, but the word chicken comes out by mistake because chicken is something that has to do with kitchen. It's not the right word you're trying to say. You found something semantically similar to kitchen. Or like you're trying to say, hey, go to the bathroom, and you actually say, go to the paper, because you think of toilet paper when you're in the bathroom, so you might say paper instead of bathroom. Or if you want to say toilet, and you say, I'm going to use the patum, and you're like, okay, what was that word that I just said? Patum? I'm supposed to try to say toilet. So when you're having that discoordination, that breakdown from what you're thinking you want to say to what you're producing, and there's a breakdown along the way. So I really want you to focus, now that we've talked so much in prior lectures about what causes apraxia of speech. This is our time to try to figure out, how do we actually produce the sounds when you're having breakdowns communication? So remember, apraxia of speech occurs when Broca's area here is having producing and discoordination sound issues. It can also occur if this part of the brain here has been injured. Remember, all this could be from a stroke or brain injury. Is when you're having difficulty understanding and processing speech sounds. That can cause breakdown in your ability to communicate. Right across here, the arcuate fasciculus. This is the motor pathway, or I'm sorry, this is brain nerves that is between Broca's area and Wernicke's area, and they go back and forth to communicate to each other. This helps someone speak clearly, helps someone be able to find the words they want to say. And we can't forget about the cerebellum. That is your voluntary movement, your ability to move the tongue, your jaw, be able to move your facial muscle. It's that coordination that is involved to be able to communicate. There's a breakdown anywhere here, it can disrupt how we produce our sounds to communicate. So we are going to talk about automatic speech. I hope everyone here has heard automatic speech. It's the ability to verbalize different words or phrases that occurs without the conscious effort of the individual. What this means is that it's located in a different part of the brain than what's affected with your ability to communicate voluntarily, something new information. It's actually produced in a different part of the brain, which is why you're able to communicate words that you've said over and over and over and over again over the years. That is just habit. You say it and you don't even think about it. Like hello, goodbye, bye, yes, no. These are phrases that you've said for so long that they just pop up and you don't even think about it. So how can we use automatic speech to help you communicate? It's so interesting because it's your ability to be able to say numbers. So like counting is an example of automatic speech. If someone who's listening to this is having difficulty communicating, try counting to 10. And you might find that you may have difficulty searching for words, difficulty finding the word you want to say. Like you say patum and you're trying to say computer, but you might be able to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You might be able to do all that, which is super fascinating because it's something you have learned from so long ago. And you're able just to pull it out just like that. It's that magic. It's you ever go to a speech therapy evaluation and the speech therapist says, count to 10. And you're like, I can't do this. And then you count to 10. And families are always in awe by that technique because it's located in a different part of the brain to communicate. So awesome. I love automatic speech. Here's another example. Days of the week. Has your speech therapist ever said to you, I want to hear you do days of the week? I know I ask this question all the time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can't believe I just said that. Look at all those syllables in the words. Think about how fluent I just said that. This is so exciting. And it's because from all those years in maybe college, in school, going to work, you've had to say all those days of the week over and over and over again. So you just say it and you don't think about it. It's a habit. So it just pops out of the brain. You may not be able to say, where is the bathroom? You may not be able to say that, but you can do days of the week. It's kind of cool. How about this? Months of the year. Now, these words are hard to say. September, 3 syllables. December. So a person could be thinking, I can't say November, December. There's too many syllables. But because of automatic speech and having the skill be located in a different part of the brain, you might be able to produce it. I've had a lot of people who aren't able to communicate, but they can do months of the year. Starting with January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. But the keys of counting days of the week, months of the year, you want to get a rhythm going. So what I mean by that, don't say January, February, no. You got to have a pattern going, and that's what makes it automatic speech. So if you say, so if you want to say September, you're going to have a hard time just saying September. That's going to be hard. But if you say all of the words together into your routine, into your habit forming automatic speech, you'll be able to get to September. So for example, someone says to you, okay, so when's your birthday? And we'll pretend your birthday's March. And you're going to say, and you're having a hard time getting March out because you're groping for the sounds. Your tongue, your lips, your jaws are moving like it's supposed to. You could say January, February, March. Oh, your birthday's in March. You were able to get March out using that technique. The same exact way with days of the week. Someone says to you, what day of the week is it? You're trying to say Tuesday. And then you go Monday, Tuesday, and you're able to say Tuesday. But the key is you gotta have the rhythm of the habit of saying everything to help you get to the word that you want to say. Another one is automatic speech example or nursery rhymes. Oh, I get too much of this with my 2-year-old at home. So wheels of the bus go round and round. Happy birthday, itsy bitsy spider. Old MacDonald had a farm. Bingo, all these other different sound like nursery rhymes that are out there. The catch, though, is these nursery rhymes only work if you actually knew them prior to the brain injury, prior to the stroke. This isn't the time to learn the new ones. This is the time to try to capture what you already knew prior to the brain injury. And the reason why I say that, emphasize that, is because if it's something you already knew, it's a long-term memory that you're retrieving that you just know. This isn't new information that you're learning. This is something you already have it buried in your brain, and you're able to pull it out to sing it. And you can get some really fluent speech. I've had patients in the past who have had the inability to be able to communicate a sentence unless they sing nursery rhymes. And I can get them to sing wheels on the bus go round and around, twinkle, twinkle, little star, so fluently. But they want to say something to me and they want to say, can you get the spoon? They're going to have difficulty saying that because that's new information. But I always think it's so important to highlight what you can do. It's so important. And these techniques can act as a launching pad to get more communication. Automatic speech example, answering the phone. It is amazing how fluent someone who is annoyed can be when they're answering the phone and you're talking to a telemarketer. You're like, stop calling me. It's amazing how clearly someone can communicate. Or if you're trying to call, from my experience, calling insurance companies, and you're on an answering machine message and you're trying really hard to get your representative to answer the phone, and you say, representative, to try to get someone to answer. It's amazing how something like that can just come out so clearly if it's something that you've said all the time prior to having an injury, whether it's from a stroke or a brain injury, or even just answering the phone, and hopefully everyone's doing this, being nice and polite and saying, hello there, how are you? And if it's a habit, you're just going to do it. And you're going to be like, where did that come from? So think about automatic speech. Think about how all of this is affecting you and how you're able to use this, because it's going to help you figure out ways and tricks to try to pull that speech out that you know. Good, fine, great. Those are common words and phrases that people are able to communicate, and they don't even think about it. Here's another one, common sayings. What I mean by common sayings are things that we say all the time. Good, fine, great. So common sayings are really important. It's a form of automatic speech, because you probably have heard, it's raining cats and, were you able to say dogs? Okay. I have butterflies in my, were you able to say stomach? Not to toot my horn. Were you able to say horn? Now, the key about these phrases is that these are phrases that you had to have heard of prior to the brain injury, because they just come out and you just know what they are. So like, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Eat, drink, and be merry. So if you have fluency, so if someone says the two, so if someone says it's raining cats, and they pause, and you're supposed to say and dogs after, but you're trying to get the rhythm and the intonation of the phrase that's spoken. And if you know that saying, if you've heard it, you're able to complete the sentence. Turn on the light. I did it. Turn off the light. Blow a, answer the, and you're able to complete that sentences, because these are all things that you probably have heard a lot, and you're able to pull it out. So turn on the will help you say the word light, although the word light by itself might be hard to say, but the context cues going into turn on the will help you say the word light. Automatic speech is so fascinating. I love working with it. Absolutely do. So remember, being tired, frustrated, and stressed will make those sound production errors greater. Because remember, when you're frustrated, you're going to start searching for those sounds more, because the connections in your brain just aren't going to work correctly because you're anxious. It's just like memory. When you're stressed out and frustrated, and when you're tired, you're less likely to remember information. So if you're less likely to remember information, of course, you're going to have difficulty producing the sounds you're trying to say when you're frustrated. And I know it's easier to say than do, but I'm a believer if you're aware of it, you can help your self-control when you're in that situation. So again, thank you so much for coming and listening to my lecture today on speech therapy strategies with apraxia of speech. Please keep an eye out for my next lecture. It's going to be a little switch. It's going to be on dysarthria. So it's going to be what is dysarthria and what's the causes of dysarthria? And this is when someone can have slurred speech when they're communicating. We're going to be talking about that next. Hope everyone is enjoying my series so far, and I look forward to having you guys listen to me again soon. Okay, bye-bye.